Welcome to Ironcast. We've got a 2v2 starting right now. Team games are always crazy hectic, so let's introduce our players first. Starting with the commanders who have questionably decided that they identify as the Axis. In the blue is Nil as the Wehrmacht and Captain Jericho as Cyan leading the Africa Corps. They'll be shooting at anyone not matching their own colors. Now that sounds exceedingly like racism. Boo! The good news is that their enemies will be firing back. We've got a double pip-pip cheerio British combo, the Royal Red Rom-C and the purple platoon of Ren Epic. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name's Inuki, and a big thank you to all the new subscribers. Every time you subscribe to this YouTube, these little kitties get some catisfactions. And you can't subscribe enough because these cats are never fully catisfied. So here we are on Campbell's Convoy. That name is not a location. I strongly dislike that naming format. Be rid of it. It's a long stretch of road right down the middle. A very open map. Long-range engagements are common. Vehicles have plenty of freedom to move, at least when they're pathfinding right. Against double British, though, there's plenty of light vehicle threat at the hands of the boys' AT rifles, or at least those are the rumors. I haven't observed enough 2v2 matches. I'm a core 1v1 player. And as soon as you add even just one more player on each side, the power dynamics change so much. And that's partly because it can be easier to field counters. But that's if players are working together. Typically, I don't see people lending their AT gun to their friend. And it's not because people are selfish, it's just difficult to do so. As we see already, the players have divided the map and are taking their respective sides. And commanders are always thinking about how to advance their cause or how to enhance their conquest. Because the harder you win your side of the map, the better off your team is. That's the common folk logic anyway. It's not a truth, but it ain't no lie either. Top side of the map, Nil has a machine gun trying to get set up. Infantry section arriving on the scene, and the sappers getting spread out. I think they're looking just to be in their position to flank. Kettenkrad does spot them. Pioneers take position behind the sandbags. No, running back. Nil is running their machine gun away too to try and set up in a more favorable position. That's tactics on display. It's quite different to the 2v2 map Torrent with all the buildings. No buildings here to stuff a machine gun in. No church to have an ungodly amount of area control. All you've got is the sandy air in your lungs and the fresh sand between your toes all around you. Nil is suppressing from left to right. That 42 turns so slowly on the tripod. But it is getting the job done. Rom-C is having to hit the dirt. Meanwhile, bot side of the map, Jericho's got a 250 with Pioneers in, but Ren is coming up behind with an infantry section. AT rifles so easy to get a hold of. They're just laying around. A sweet treasure in the sand. The desert giveth, but in return you must kill. Are they gonna get the shot off? Oh yeah, and 3 of the Pioneers die in the explosion. Back to top side, Red Rom's got a Vickers machine gun. Pretty reliable weapon. Apparently not many weapons could be described as reliable. A Vickers machine gun was the longest serving military weapon. It was used in World War I all the way up to the late 60s. Red Rom's trying to swivel that gun around. The MG42 just sets up behind the rock, gets it nice and close. Does get suppressed, but hell, who cares? Bad time to reload. But as soon as it starts blasting white phosphorus rounds, that's a bit overkill, is it not? Well played, though, to Nil there. MG42 also had a lot of nicknames. The Americans called it Hitler's Buzzsaw or Hitler's Zipper. The British had a name for it, but I can't remember what it was. It was something witty or not so obvious. The Soviets called it the Linoleum Ripper. You know, the non-fluffy carpet stuff you put down on the floor? I don't know what that... I don't get it. But apparently that's what they called it. Germans had a lot of nicknames for it. Hitler's Saw, nice and simple. The Schnell Spritzer, fast sprayer. Bone Saw, or Electricious MG, the electric MG. Captain Jericho's got their own machine gun. Panzer Pioneers upgraded with the flamethrower, advancing forward. Love the heavy cover around here. It's just like a straight line, nice and simple. Infantry section getting the high ground, but little do they maybe know that flamethrowers still hurt just as much from down below. You might be doing more damage up there, but the amount of damage you're taking behind heavy cover grouped up like that is all the same. Now, here's something interesting. Nil taking pot shots with a sniper. That sniper's on the front line. There's nothing in front of them. It's the third kill now. Here we go. Reinforcements have arrived. Oh, they lost the Kettenkrad, by the way. It's an unfortunate loss so early on. But if you're going to lose something, then it might as well be the Kettenkrad. Sniper's already hard at work. I feel like I've not seen a sniper in such a long time. I've been playing a lot of matches against the US. Against the British, it's fine to get a sniper out, but against the US, if they've got a sniper of their own, it's a nightmare. That sniper just defeats yours. Well, I say that. Technically, I saw the patch notes. I lost my sniper twice to it, and I'm just kind of like, never again. I'm not going to try and compete. Rom torching the MG in this heated battle. Grenadiers got their MP40s, so it's breakthrough tactics for Nil. Vickers pinning them down, forcing a big retreat. You got to spread those soldiers out. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Ren. Ooh, is that AT rifle going to take some shots at the medic truck? It sure is. Getting the medic truck behind the MG. These machine guns are playing a pivotal role. Reinforcements will easily keep them alive, and the infantry section will not be able to compete. So they're going to run as well. We got another infantry section doing some backcapping, or at least trying to. Both Ren and Rom pushing deep into enemy territory one way or another, either by backcapping or by force. Assault Grenadiers to the defense, shooing those infantry away. I don't think we've seen any indicators of what battle groups the British have chosen just yet, and that in itself could be a sign that they're both armor. Ooh, there's a mortar out now for Nil. And it's arrived perfectly in time because the machine gun, the Vickers, is set up behind the sandbag. Nil sending their entire force in there. They've got a sniper as well, which can help deal with the machine gun if it actually shoots the right target, which it does not, of course. Nil has learned to spread out a little this time. MP40s moving up on the flank. Sniper kills the second. Mortar firing overhead. I don't think the Vickers machine gun's getting out of here, which is a shame because they were vet too. Rom's bringing up the infantry. They are moving in from all kinds of angles. Nil won't falter though. They've got an overly flavorful composition. Grenadiers and MGs and snipers and mortars. And if it weren't for the aridification of this geographical location, they'd probably have tiny little woodland creatures armed with tiny tools of destruction at their disposal. As for the south, though, not much action between Ren and Captain Jericho. And by the way, let me know if you like or what you think of the split-screen camera. For me, personally, I like to see as much of the action as possible, so we can see Ren taking the high ground. They're going to get the Panzer Pioneers. Yes, they do. See, we could have missed that. Be your own critique, though. If you don't like this, let me know. It would be as offensive and unconstructive as you want to be in the comments. I promise I won't hunt you down like an 8-rat. I've learned that lesson the hard way. But the main reason I do these videos is to show you how fun the game is, to share a passion of mine. That and nobody wants to watch me learn 3D modeling and sculpting. It does take a bit of work to present the matches like this. And I think it's worth it, that's why I do it. Outside of a 1v1, games are just full of things happening, often at the same time, so I don't really do it for the 1v1 matches. And I hate missing things. I have a fear of missing out. Not enough to complete the quests in Company of Heroes 3, though. I'm not going out of my way to complete these really specific quests. I don't have that kind of time on me. I just want to enjoy the matches for what the experience offers. Playing the game is the reward for me. The reward is not the reward. Bloody freaking games industry. Anyway, we got a couple more battles happening at the same time. Stuart arrives on the field for Ren. Just parks itself next to the machine gun with a Jaeger squad on there 3 o'clock. That Stuart's going right to the scrapyard. Am I right? See, not just casting, production, 3D modeling, music composition, and games marketing, but wordplay too. Not really reflected in my view count, though. No, it's the community who are wrong. You're a really good caster, Anuki. And what's interesting is that the first attack from Rom was repelled, but they added again. They find a second machine gun. They've played a solid defense, and maybe now is their time to stretch out and conquer some more land, and those all-important victory points. The Allies haven't lost much tickets. The Axis behind by about 100-ish. Between our Cyan and Purple commanders, Captain Jericho's got their vehicles sitting on the front lines with a medic truck there as well. As for Ren Epic, to use their full name, they're getting more AT rifles which can threaten everything Jericho has. It could be a nightmare for Jericho. It could be Clive Barker's Jericho. Let me know if you played that game. 3 out of 5 thumbs up for you if you did. There's got to be others out there that exist, right? In any case, we've heard the stories about AT boys spam. I think as you increase the player count, the viability of such a tactic does increase, but to me this isn't an issue with the units themselves. This is an issue with it being impossible to create a balance setting that works for 1v1 and 4v4. Pausing that thought for a moment, we got a Crusader AA out for Rom. Blasting straight into the Grenadiers and the machine gun. AT boys spam blob ball on approach. Taking a slight detour, a less direct route. Nil sent their machine gun away, but the Grenadiers remain behind, and I don't think they're making it out of there. Retreating. Oh, okay. Lucky only their friends died. Huzzah! Okay, now the AT boys spam has apparently evolved to the point where you no longer even need to carry the AT rifles. This is very Clive Barker's Jericho now. Every infantry section has 2 psychics capable of manipulating battlefield ordnance that they are at least familiar with purely through mental will. But it still isn't as powerful as the ancient technique of teamwork. How can Ren help? Nil has 2 machine guns. It'd be a monsterful suppression. No doubt in my mind that Ren would smash that retreat button without second thought. And you should consider the same for that like button. God, I'm really on the ball today with plugging stuff. You can tell I'm classified under the umbrella of the marketing department. I'm such a scumbag. Oh, speaking of scumbag marketing, propaganda from above sends 2 infantry sections back to base. What kind of things do they print on there? Tea doesn't count as your 5 a day? All 5 fruits in 1 drink. Maybe it's the Channel 4's gonna stop exploiting vulnerable people for daytime TV. Look at this one guy. He's got the Electrician's MG Groovy Worky going on. Oh, I mean, that kind of kills the party. It's time to pack it up. Grenadiers with the MP40s here to assist, give them covering fire as they retreat against the floaty psychic infantry sections. It's not supposed to be another Warhammer game. Grenades away. It just looks so ridiculous. Anywho, 8 Rad is over here. Captain Jericho is probably thinking, where the hell's my opponent? Wow, it's so easy over here. You know that kind of teammate, I'm sure you've endured it. Stuart and Crusader AAs over here as well. So like we mentioned earlier, double armored battle group, Crusader AAs out in force for both commanders. And Stuart's getting pinged by a Marder 3. These are supposed to have good situational awareness. One more shot will finish the job. The round just vanishes. Sorry, we got another shot. Whiffs it into the dirt. Keep retreating. Come on, back, back, back. Third shot for the Marder. That round is another vanishing round. We've entered the Twilight Zone. Ooh. And straight away from something I was talking about earlier. I was talking about team games and team balance and how we can't just change the stats of the units. And I know we can't keep doing this because that method has been tried for... Company of Heroes 1 was 2006, so that's 17 years? Tried for 17 years and failed? The solution is something very different, and I'm actually looking to provide such a solution with a mod that will hopefully revolutionize team-based play. If you are interested in having a kick-ass 4v4 gameplay experience in Company of Heroes, then join up on the discord.me/Ironcast, link in the video description. There's a little more info in the Discord somewhere. But until Relic releases full-on mod tool capabilities, I can't probably properly start the project. Just the planning and the research, finding out what's possible, finding out what might be possible, but outside my knowledge to do so. You never know, I might be able to ask some questions here and there and get some stuff implemented. Anyway, back to the game. This is what it's all about. That damaged Marder 3 is looking to play with a Crusader AA. Not today! 250 not even giving a damn. It's got the full-on support of the Jaeger squads doing a cracking job, but reinforcements have arrived. Steward tank, supported with the Crusader AA, is more than capable of dealing with that. I like how the infantry runs and the 250's like, well, I'm pretty much doomed. Medic truck getting caught up in this as well. Marder 3 here to provide some fire. Honestly, I think the Steward tank and the Crusader AA could easily deal with it, but Ren doesn't feel as confident. What a messy battlefield this is turning out to be. It's not like the tiny ones I'm used to seeing, where everyone picks up after themselves. This is just chaos flung into the firefight. Panzer IV gunning it out of the door, already gets a kill. The vehicles from the British unable to comprehend that armor. Also got a Stug D for the Africa Corps. That'll be useful against the purple AT blob should that show itself again. Wouldn't be a bad idea to get a second Stug D as well. Really punish that kind of infantry. Looking good for the Axis in terms of combat, but victory point-wise, well, they need to keep their eye on the prize. The British almost control all three, and we have 3 squads just sitting on the bottom victory point. Here comes that cracking Stug D. The D stands for deciding not to aim at the concentration of infantry. Just gotta pick off that outer shell first before slurping at the core. Captain Jericho likes to savor their infantry sections. It's exactly the kind of demented demeanor that is required to play Axis. Winning comes secondary to inflicting suffering. Time for a bit of rest and relaxation, though. Very important for morale. Highly motivated troops fight better. They fight with more fierceness when they've got something to protect, something worth protecting. Which I'm not even sure Russia knows what morale is right now. Yes, I've been watching a ton of videos on the Ukraine war. I mean, it is a very, very sad thing, but holy cow is Russia's army also corruptedly comical. The soldiers cracking open a box of what should be plastic explosives to find out that it's just blocks of wood. Body armor that is filled with foam. Only, is it foam? It's probably fake foam, so it doesn't even offer the level of protection that real foam would provide. The T-14 Armata, Russia's flagship next-level hyper-tech tank, is a tank that is designed around an engine, and that engine is based on a diesel engine that came into existence in 1931. An engine that was famously unreliable because it was put into the Tiger and the King Tiger, which notoriously broke down with engine failures. I should probably post some videos in the Discord about it. It's very interesting to learn about. But anywho, we got a push coming down on the bottom side of the map. Big blobber straight into the Stug D. Took off a lot of that front armor. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, a lot more fighting has been focused around here. Nil and Rom contesting that middle victory point. Suppression in effect for Ren's troops, and the Stug D advances forward to try and capitalize on that. Got a retreat in order there. Hold down on the Panzer IV. Seemed a bit needless going against a Crusader AA. It wasn't really going to inflict much damage on you. Love the position of this MG. It's nice and high up, but it is getting slammed hard by yet another Crusader AA that plagues the fields. Where is the supporting elements? Oh, there's the supporting elements. Marder 3 is just perfect. Ren's got themselves a mortar, which is making its way to the field. As for Rom, they've got a Matilda too. Matilda is a good match for the Panzer IV. And the Crusader AA can still deal some damage if it hits in the side or the rear. Don't discount that, but I don't think it's really going to get the opportunity to do such a thing. Getting the hold down again. It's really effective against tanks. Oh, cancelling it, in fact, as the infantry section gets a sticky grenade off. But if you had the hold down, the sticky grenade wouldn't do anything. Apparently, hold down stops sticky grenades from doing any damage, any snare effects. Complete immunity. Stormtroopers backing out of the field. Ooh, MG with the Vet 3. How many kills do you got? 19. Nice. Panzer IV charging away, wants to finish off the Matilda. It's gonna get it. It's risking it. Ooh, yeah, final blast. Very nice. The Marder was there to support as well. The Crusader AA. Is it gonna give it a shot? It should have tried to team up with the Matilda when it had the chance. Might have got some rear shots in there. I don't think it's gonna do it now. It's been lured into the Marder 3's line of sight. Another Crusader lost. Again, it feels like the British are not in control, but the scores currently say otherwise. Definitely a turning point, though. If they want to regain control of 2 victory points, I think they're going to need to utilize a bit of combined arms. Delivering a large blow to the front armor of that Stug D. World War II really was a staging ground for understanding the effects of today's modern warfare doctrines, which is largely combined arms. You had World War I, gave us the introduction of the tank, a thing of wonder. And there was this idea that if you had a tank and your opponent didn't, you had basically won. Oh my god, Nil's mortars are just thoroughly exposed here. Nil's too busy concentrating in the middle of the map to notice Captain Jericho late to arrive. The Stug D, very underwhelming. Got planes flying overhead, really low flying as well. Firing back on that second mortar. At least they can be recrewed. So once you get past World War I and you enter World War II, I mean, various leaders actually had differences of opinions, as you might expect. One of the British leaders I recall thinking that tanks wouldn't even be a thing in World War II. Because they will have outlived their use. And actually the design of the Churchill, in sort of contradiction, was intended for World War I style trench-like combat. That's the reason for its long rectangular chassis. Germany, on the other hand, was full on blitzkrieg lightning war. It wanted power and speed, and that could only be done through a mobilized armored doctrine. We got the Churchill Black Prince out here. Finally, nice to see you. Ren has just been throwing their infantry at a brick wall. But maybe they can group up with the Churchill and do some real damage now. That thing could take out the machine guns. It could take out, well, the machine guns. That's really the only threat to the AT infantry so far. The Stug D, I think, has been underwhelming. Really going deep with that Black Prince. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, we got some repairs going down on the Panzer IV. Rom is being extremely considerate to fire on the tank rather than the repairing infantry. Remember, they take additional damage whilst doing such a task. The Black Prince not really living up to its full potential with all these straggling squads just wandering around. I mean, sure, it's some easy kills, but it's kind of slow and they're not taking territory. It really wants to be escorting those AT boys on a full WAG crusade. The Black Prince can deal with the Maschinengewehrs, the infantry can do everything else. Was that an anti-tank tear gas round from the Jaeger squad? You think you can blind me? It is you Jaegers which are blinded by your arrogance. I will crush you slowly, because my maximum speed is severely impeded by this 17-pounder I carry. This Black Prince is just off in the wilderness, so far from British society. Finds a Panzer III, could do something about that at least. Maybe. I'm not sure what Red is thinking, moving it out here. And, you know, perhaps it's best I don't. Jaeger stuffs his head down the barrel. They probably didn't need their brains anyway. Nil shifts over their Panzer IV to help their teammate. Oh, that's right, it's a team-based game. We can share assets. At the Panzer IV to the Panzer III, you've got yourself a Panzer VII. That's a lion. Maybe you've not heard of it. It never left the drawing board because Hitler cancelled the project. Just when you think Hitler couldn't be more evil. A lion tank. Cool naming convention. I think this Churchill is lost, but will it take the Panzer IV with it? The hull is down. It doesn't matter. And it's the Jaeger squad, I think, that gets the kill there. The Jaeger only has 2 vehicle kills, Vet 3 on them, so safe assumption. At least now the British infantry can fight side by side with the corpse of a Black Prince. Ooh, the 8-Rad knocked out. Nil. Not looking, didn't notice the old Rom moving up with the Matilda and the Royal Guard. Now I can't stop thinking about the Lion tank. Really like to see an alternative fantasy World War II RTS, kind of like the Foxhole thing that they've done. If I can actually keep learning 3D modeling, maybe I can make my own custom tanks in Company of Heroes 3. Be wicked. Creatively speaking, making a 3D model of a tank is no problem at all. That's the easy part. But getting it rigged, running, animated, and in the game, that's a whole different ball game. Nice looking cinematic viewpoint here. Only slightly ruined by the historical floaty gun inaccuracies. Nevertheless, we can imagine how cool it might look if the guns were actually in their hands. Still a good looking scene with these 2 Matildas coming over to have a bit of a chat with the machine guns. Kill the machine guns. Save the world. This is all that needed to happen. There's even planes flying overhead. Look out for those ruins. 1 machine guns is down. Ripe for the capture. So is the 250 and the medic truck. It's a huge loss for Captain Jericho. Will they be able to recover from such a defeat? Nil seems to be having trouble with Rom. I noticed, by the way, in 2v2s that it's sometimes the case that the way that the map is divided is 1 player on each team, maybe just 1 player on 1 team, is allocated like 2/3 of the map. Like, if it's top, middle, bottom, like it is here, we have Nil, who is fighting for the top and the middle, and so is Rom. They're fighting top and middle as well, and the other players are just chilling it out, trying to deal with one zone. Not very fair, is it? The Matilda's cruising past a Flak 36, a perfect weapon to dump into this vast openness. And what's that in the distance? It's not a lion, it's a tiger. Oh my, I think our two British armor commanders are doomed if they're going to try and compete on a technological armored warfare advantage, because they're outgunned, they're outranged. But hey, they've got some planes. Probably not for long with this Flak 36 here. The Tiger chasing down. Very injured Matilda. Oh, the plane got shot. Apparently it can take a single hit without going down, though. Royal Guard managed to protect the Matilda. And the Tiger is backing away. Oh, the Flak 36 got decrewed. All kinds of stuff going on right now. Here's that AT blob. Right into the machine gun fire. But because they have hover rifles, they're still able to fire back. There's the retreat. The flamethrowers literally covering fire. That's nice. Captain Jericho ensures that they keep hold of that Flak 36, pulling it back to the safety of their rear lines. The good news is that there's another Black Prince. Maybe if the AT boys are quick enough, they can regroup with this monster of a tank and actually do something together. It's looking like it is doomed to repeat its predecessor's mistakes. It could support any allies on the field, but I'm not seeing much of them either. Again, somehow the British feel like they've been losing so many battles, yet winning the war. They've got just over double the amount of tickets. Rom's very hesitant to advance into that Tiger. Two Matildas and a Black Prince. Come on, combine them. You'd be an unstoppable, undefeatable, invincible force to be reckoned with. Yeah, charge it in, call it Campbell's Convoy. Tiger advancing, trying to get the kill. Shot. Whiffs one. Sapper's trying to get some repairs in. Tiger still moving forward, and that shot does confirm the kill. Feel like we've squandered our tanks. The Black Prince instead assisting the sappers in the south to build the great barbed wire wall of the wastelands. Double Royal Guards out trying to hit on that Tiger. Now, I remember seeing on Reddit, by the way, I think it was just a couple of weeks ago, most unusual sighting, people talking about the defenses. The complaint being that barbed wire is far too fragile. And I agree, barbed wire just dies to small arms fire completely incidentally. Got more recon artillery coming out. And speaking of the devil, another Reddit thread talking about anti-air being terrible. These are all very good, relevant examples. This Flak 36 crew is terrible. Dre Umza Gawinin, come on! You've got the shot. Press the trigger. Anyway, the question about static defenses. How resistant to destruction do you think barbed wire should be? For me, I think that grenades or small explosives shouldn't destroy it. I think satchel charges or larger explosions should. I don't think that tank shells should destroy it either, unless they are high explosive, like from a Stug D. I think, kind of around that area is what we should be working with. This Vet 3 infantry section, 12 infantry kills, 2 vehicle kills, on par with the Tiger tank, 15 infantry kills, 1 vehicle kill. So it's an even match. The infantry section is dead. And the Tiger tank rolls over their bodies before the Minesweeper team can sweep for any jewelry they might have had on them. A practice that continues to happen today with British tourists abroad. 35 minutes in now, Axes have been trickled down to 70 points. British sitting on 299 and have been for a while. Now just a quick random note, we got the Radio Net perk for Ren instead of the Veterancy upgrade. As you see, the Black Prince doesn't have a star on it. Tiger getting those side shots in, pings into the air. Meanwhile, there's attack on the north side. Royal Guards doing a number on some Panzer Pioneers. Very light attacks, though. Ooh, smokes away for the Assault Grenadiers. And the Matilda's just going to ride on through. It's pretty cool to have a tank heroically charge through the smokes. It'd be cooler with some infantry, but the supportive elements aren't occurring at the same time, so these tanks are just left alone. Damn, that's a lot of infantry just moving around. All AT rifled up. Classic. Matilda advancing under machine gun fire, under a grenadier squad with a flamethrower. Why the hell not? I really want to talk about tank traps right now. But I'm going to assume there's going to be some kind of big ball action. Got those floaty AT rifles ruining the cinematic experience of the game. Yeah, maybe I do have a chance to talk about tank traps. I mean, the only thing to really say is they take way too long to build. I do see them. I've only seen them on the very few 4v4s that I've played with friends on like the very narrow street. They're extremely easy to remove. And I like the US half track. At Vet 1, you can get an upgrade that increases defensive building speed by about 40%. It's almost twice as fast, not quite. So I'm going to assume 40%. On a map like this, though, you can never truly close off any choke points. It's just way too open. But you can create some preferential funnels. You know, if you've got the stronger tank, the superior tank, then you want a head-to-head battle. And you can stop flanks by putting tank traps on either side of you. Tiger tank engaging all those AT rifles. You know, it looks mighty fine. Nils swung a machine gun round, and would you look at that? It does work. Suppression, even in an open map like this. What Ren needs is some smoke. Mortar smoke. Stuart can deploy smoke with an upgrade. Black Prince also has smoke. Now, I get that people are saying the machine guns just get sniped before they get the suppression off, but look, this isn't Age of Empires or StarCraft, which apparently I keep saying. Company of Heroes, not a complex game. That's not the accurate description, but it's a context game. What's the context? Because if you've got 30 guys storming 4 guys, my money is on the 30 guys. You should do what these Axis commanders did, and that's double the number of machine guns. We've got a big engagement on the north side of the map. Captain Jericho losing a squad there. Matilda backing away, Royal Guards moving up. Oh, more propaganda. Captain Jericho terrifically holds on to the victory point there. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, the Tiger tank is gonna crush through the barbed wire as easy as tank traps. Yeah, I'm complaining about tank traps again. I didn't finish my thoughts last time. Tiger tanks and Matildas just crush tank traps. Black Prince. Basically, heavy tanks crush, mediums don't. And I think that probably should change. Double Martyr 3 slamming a lone Matilda. Jericho issues the order to charge. Come on, one more hit. Perhaps the pretty dented Martyr 3 should back away and leave it to their compatriot. Oh, we got another tank coming into the field as well. Martyr 3 down. 250 booping its bumper. Rob made Jericho feel like they had an assured battle win and turns it upside down. That's 2 Martyrs out of the picture. Meanwhile, the Black-Purple Prince challenged the wounded Blue Tiger, and the Blue Tiger ended up getting Vet 3 in the process. Stormtroopers out in force. doubling up will make mincemeat out of the sappers. Will Jericho also lose their medic truck as we phase through the world's rocks? Seriously, I don't think Jericho can afford any more losses. They are mostly reliant on nil at the moment, as the Axis forces have swapped their operational sides. When it comes to team-based games, I like to try and operate, all over the map. In a 2v2, it's definitely more possible than a 3v3 or a 4v4. But if you're in a 3v3 or 4v4, try and help the people on your side. So if you're at the bottom side of the map, you might help the person on your left, but if you're in the middle, you might help the person on the left or right of you. It gives you a good bit of awareness, but also you can do the tasks which are lesser of importance, I'll say. Just to help build some sandbags for your ally. Get a machine gun, pop it up just somewhere a little bit behind them so that they can retreat nice and safely into that machine gun. Things that don't require too much micro. And it's just like one thing, just that one machine gun to help your ally can make a world of difference. One Bofors gun, one anti-air battery. Plane overhead, it's a recon artillery, and Purple Wren is running through it. Plane is shot down. I'm not sure really what the artillery was targeting specifically. Maybe mainly used for the reconnaissance instead. Wren does manage to get a squad onto the middle victory point. We've got another plane overhead as well. And I think the 36 has been decrewed. Ooh. Wren's going with traditional 18th century line infantry tactics. And again, the brave infantry just running through artillery of their own making. Oh, they're grouping up with the Black Prince. Finally! It's the Marvel crossover we've been waiting for. Combined arms, tactics, and yes, they're going to stick together. I thought the Black Prince was going to drift away there. Oh my god. Black Prince has got its own gravity. This is where having a Nebel or a Stuka, a Wesp, a Schwer Gustav, that absolutely massive railway gun with a 30-meter barrel and left a 10-meter crater behind. Why is the Panzer III just charging recklessly through all that? Tiger tank appearing from behind. It's doing well on the Black Prince. Got a machine gun and a mortar back here as well. I think Rom is heading down here with their Matilda to try and help out with the Tiger. Bit too late to make the save. Black Prince only able to kill 7 infantry and 4 vehicles before it's broken. But will the Tiger tank survive? The Matilda is looking in the wrong direction. There's a perfectly good Flak 36 that could have been taken, and that would have killed the Tiger right now. It's a real shame. It would be very lucrative to steal that. Tiger tank slumping away. Captain Jericho now arriving with infantry. We've got an assault Panzer Grenadier squad and some Guastatori sandwiching all this British infantry. Wren leaving it to the last moment to retreat in the hopes they could pen the Tiger with an AT rifle shot, and it went down to 40 health. It was pretty close. There's 2 Royal Guard squads getting engaged on by Captain Jericho. They're hitting a towing truck. Now that's going to be slightly frustrating, but the Flak 36 that it tows is in a fine position. Just getting it recrewed and repaired. That's all they need to do. And just get infantry around it. Stop it from being hit by that 80 infantry blob. Rom's idling infantry and a Matilda at the top side of the map. Idling isn't always a bad thing. It's called having the defender's advantage, especially when you're not hurting for resources. Why go off into the fog of war? What's this bishop firing at? Is it going to try and get the Guastatori that's retreated into the base? Trying to wipe that squad out. Shell hits the steel titanium canopy. Pretty hard stuff. Large attack coming in the middle now as the tickets are almost out for the Axis forces. Lots of stormtroopers, 3 squads pushing out. We've recruited the 36 planes up ahead, probably going to be dropping some artillery. Seems more like just a regular... Oh, there is the shells. Matilda is lost. Stormtroopers on the middle victory point. This will stop. Oh my god. 6 tickets left remaining. It's getting pretty close. Bishops. Oh, one of them gets taken down. That was a really long-range shot. Damn. Another good score for the Axis forces, and they need all of the victories that they can get. Bottom side of the map. There's the big blob of 80 rifles. They take out a medic truck. Tiger tank showing its rear. Not the best thing in the world to do, because the victory point's been decapped. The British are ticking again. Nil calling a GG, plane crashes. Oh, hang on a moment. Middle victory point is now in the hands of the Axis, so they have 1 ticket to play with. And the Tiger tank just killed, I think, 4 squads? Still another 2 at least out on the field. They want that Tiger tank killed. Are they still trying to continue this? They can't get the Tiger tank now, for sure. And the stormtroopers appear behind them. Are they going to lose both of these squads as well? 1 down. They're reaching far away. No, slugging in the back. That was a huge loss for Ren. It ain't over until it's over. Ren still has... Oh, well, they now have a Black Prince, but it was just a Sapper squad. It's a long way to go for the Axis, though. 186 tickets remain. The British only need 1. But Ren needs an army. I guess things have got tense enough for me to have a sip of tea. Oh, still too hot a little bit. Tea though. Hint, hint, any sponsors out there? Oh, geez, I see all these super YouTube stars or Twitch people sponsored by energy drinks, and I'm like, no, this is really bad. Energy drinks are probably not good for the idle lifestyle. At least not to regularly consume. Maybe once as a treat. But no more. Black Prince out in the middle of the field. Gets a wonderful side shot into the Panzer III. Bye-bye. Like I say, the British only need to control 2 victory points for literally 0.1 of a second. If they can manage that... Black Prince, very close to death. The stormtroopers are trying to scout it out. Matilda moving forward. Getting hit hard by the Flak 36. It ain't gonna survive. Dies. But it is now heavy cover on the victory point. Captain Jericho is saying, "It ain't over till the fat lady sings." I know, I probably don't do very good impressions, but maybe their voice is like that. Ooh, Tiger tank. Wow. 66 infantry kills, 6 vehicle kills. It's the devil, and it's got a lot of pioneers to repair. A repair bunker is there as well. Very cute. I like it. Ren is calling for a referee. I think they are implying that Nil basically surrendered and has broken the terms and conditions. This is certainly going to harm trust between these peoples in the future. If they are indeed people at all. You never know who's on the other end of the internet line. Might be a complete rube. Flak 36 got captured, but only very briefly as assault grenadiers shove a load of grenades on top. Panzer III lives. If you ever get into a game with, someone that's pretty mean, don't talk back to them. It humanizes them. Just ignore it, jump into the next game, or take a break. But don't you dare have a Kit Kat. Ugh, now we're back to sponsors again. I hate League of Legends and the level of over-the-top sponsorship they have on their main events for everything. It's like the Baron Power Play, the something replay. Ugh. Thank God RTS is back on the menu. Nil's Tiger advancing down the road. I think they're scouting for that Black Prince, but along the way was a bishop. Not anymore. I think Nil's pretty happy with that. Moving off into a different direction. Yeah, I mean, RTS has done great. Age of Empires 4 has done well against expectations. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, hell yeah. Company of Heroes 3, it's still early days, but as someone who has both inside and outside perspective of the game development process, I've got pretty hard confidence that this game's going in the right direction. It's not exactly the direction I want, but it's still moving in the direction of improvement, and that's all I can really ask for. And there's Men of War 2 as well. I was expecting to hate Men of War 2. And I've been pleasantly surprised, maybe because of my low expectations, now that I think about it. If you like RTS, then you're on the right channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more things like this. A P3 chasing a Matilda. Infantry on the side, lobbing a sticky on the Panzer III. Halts the chase. And hopefully in the future we'll also do some one-off wacky RTS casts. Like Populous the Beginning, or some shit, I don't know. I just want to have fun. Where did all the fun go in my life? The last thoughts of the Crusader AA crew as the Tiger tank points its finger of death at them. 73 infantry kills, 10 vehicle kills, 3 friendly fires. One can only assume that these friendlies were traitors with the Rebel Alliance, shot for their cowardice. If you can't confront your fears, then you'll confront an 88mm round to the kneecap and left to the Sand Ravens. All in all, though, the Brits do have a bit of time, since it doesn't look like Captain Jericho and Nil are making a concerted effort for all 3 victory points. They're content with 2. So the tick down is fairly slow. Nice to see we've still got sandbags on the victory point for heavy cover. Sappers repairing their friend's Matilda tank. As for Royal Guards engaging a Digger tank by themselves, it's not a good engagement. Panzer III there as well. Overwhelming force. Look at the wall forming. Double machine guns and repair stations. This middle victory point has a huge grey zone in front of it. Off in the distance, a Crusader 2 is slipping by, but it won't accomplish much unless it's a distraction for Ren. They're putting the Black Prince on the middle victory point. Smoke blaring out the back. Infantry piling on. Captain Jericho isn't going to let this victory point go. They contest by sticking their own infantry on it. Planes being shot down. What a senseless waste of life. Oh, and what's this? It's a happy-go-lucky Stuart. Oh, what a story this would be. A heroic Stuart crew sent into impossible odds. It's dead. Oh, hang on, they kind of already made a movie like that. It was called Fury, where a single tank crew takes on the entire German army. Another plane goes down. Nil saying well played. Have the British surrendered? They have now. It is a victory for the Axis. The British have been defeated. The Empire shrinks even more. Well done, Captain Jericho and Nil. I think this was the longest cast so far. We'll run some highlights, and as we close out, if you can, come along to the Discord, show some support. I'd love to run some community events, but help is definitely required for that. I've got some copies of the game, Company of Heroes 3 to give away as well, and I've got no idea how to give them away. Hurts to think about that. And I've got a couple of 1v1 maps to finish off and try to get them tested with feedback. So much work to do. Okay, I gotta go. My name's Anuki. Thanks for watching. See you, friends, next time.
Supply lines are cut. Territory is isolated. Pioneers reported killed!